All right, we're back. What was I saying? I don't think there's
His
any doubt that
injury. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that CMC is going to be the best running back in the league until he or if he gets potentially hurt, right? If he
Yeah.
gets hurt, obviously you can't use him if he's not playing. That being said, give him a couple weeks to integrate into a new system to get the rhythm down with the quarterbacks and everything else like that. I heard at first they said that he might not play in the upcoming game. But then I heard that they'll probably be using him in a limited fashion, but he'll have goal
Mhm.
line work.
Mhm.
Um, Me personally, I think just throw him into the fire, get him a couple practices. The dude's a stud. Just play
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah.
Everybody kept saying, "Oh, don't start DeAndre Hopkins. You know he's going to be on limited snap count." What he did last Thursday night, put up a bunch
Yeah.
of points, a bunch of
Yeah.
points. Um, the skill's there, right? The timing's not, and I understand all that, but he can get some in-game experience. I'm not
Yeah.
saying put him out wide and make him run 10 yards down the field and run a
Mhm.
crossing route. I'm saying he can run the ball and he can work some stuff. So get him in there. Um, how
Um,
excited are you? Like,
uh, Very excited. I mean, just as like a selfish part, because like he's been one of my favorite players since like he was at Stanford. I remember back in 2017, I thought we were going to take him because we had the number two overall pick, and we instead took Solomon Thomas, the defensive end, instead of and we passed on a whole bunch of elite players. So that was a miss. So it's like we're fixing a miss that we had. Um, I'd say I'm shocked, honestly. The Niners just aren't this team. Like when once I hear Rams and Bills and Niners, okay, Rams are going to do it. They always do it. Like sort of that type of team. So that's why I see this as such a big win. It's like okay, the Niners got a star player and the Rams didn't get him. Like that's
yeah.
that's a
Well, yeah, I
big thing.
mean, the divisional rivals and
Yeah,
the 49ers are like, we're going to get this running back and we're not going to let you have him. You know, and the Rams
yeah,
need a running back. So nothing
yeah.
against Devery Henderson. I like Devery Henderson. He's just not an every down all the time back. He needs someone to
Yeah.
change up the pace with him. Obviously, Cam Akers
Um,
is being shopped somewhere else. So
yeah, yeah.
we'll see what happens right there. Um,
Um,
go ahead.
Schematically, it feels like Shanahan like reached his final level, like because he's done so good with like, hey, I like Mostert and Wilson and Mitchell, but they're not McCaffrey. So
Yeah,
like now we can see what Shanahan, if Shanahan has done that good with those guys, like let's see what he can do with like a star,
yeah. Hmm.
talent. But that'll be exciting. And also I think it helps. It's going to help Debo become a better player. I think defenses have really just kind of honed in on Debo the past few years. Okay, let's just stop Debo, and then everything else, is okay. And so now I think that Debo and CMC are going to be used in the same way, like a similar way.
Yeah,
Where CMC is going to be doing, he's going to run the ball. Like Shanahan's crazy. I'm, I'm, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Debo and McCaffrey in the backfield at the same time. And they're doing like options and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah. Are
So
you see one
that's
of them pass the other the
yeah.
ball? You know,
You never
um,
know. Yeah.
you never know these days, man. I've seen some wild plays
Yeah.
in the last 10 years. Um, yeah, I mean he's definitely a net positive for the 49ers. You know,
Yeah.
um,
And like, please say this: if say he, knock on wood, but say he gets injured and it just ends up being like he's just a nagging injury guy and he doesn't play much, I still am okay with the move. Like I'm just happy that the Niners finally just like took a swing. Like it seems for the past 5 years, it's like
look,
okay,
man,
build, build.
yeah. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do have to take a swing. Like
Yeah,
there's just you have
yeah,
to.
let's take it.
Like and the 49ers, I mean, yeah, they got some injuries and stuff like that, but I mean they're a solid team. They're just
Mhm.
missing that stud running back, and it's not because they didn't have necessarily good running backs. They just always hurt, always hurt.
Yeah,
So it's you're hoping that CMC can sustain himself, stay healthy, and give you a good. And I really, he's been having a hell of a season so far. Like it's not
yeah.
like you could sit
Oh yeah.
here and say that he hasn't. So, uh, which I mean, we talked about that at the beginning of the year. Like there was no doubt in my mind if Christian McCaffrey played most of the season, he'd be the number one running back. In fantasy.
Also,
So
what is like the Niners have options. Like we can keep McCaffrey fresh. Like, like because we still have Mitchell coming back. We have Jeff Wilson, so we could have Calf.
well,
I
yeah.
still want.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I still want McCaffrey to have 15 to 20 touches, but
Well,
it
yeah,
doesn't have to. Like I don't want to see them pounding.
yeah. He
Like
he
that.
he. McCaffrey doesn't need to touch the ball 35 times a game, right? He
Yeah,
don't he don't need to touch the ball 25. Like I said, 15, 20 times is perfect.
good.
Get him in the pass
In the sweet
game,
spot.
get him to run the ball. Like you don't have to drive him into the ground. Y'all don't need him to do that, right? And that's what I'm saying. And look, I also want to say that kudos to Brandon Ayuk for finally having that explosive game
Oh yeah,
that we
big game.
we both knew he was capable of. I was happy to see that. He was on my bench in the fantasy league that I had him in, but that's fine. Like I knew he was
Yeah,
capable, and that was a high ceiling game. Um, he'll come back down to earth, but like I want to see that because he's going to earn more reps from having a
yeah,
performance like that. He's going to earn some more looks, and that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see more of a balanced scale with him.
yeah. And I was gonna say, I know this is like something that like most fans don't look at, but I'm a big fan of McCaffrey's pass block, and like
He's a
that's
good
something
he's a
that
good pass blocker though. Like he
and
is a good pass blocker.
that's been an issue for us is our backs. Like ever since like Frank Gore, like for some reason we can't find another back who's like a good blocker. Yeah, someone to kind of tie the bow up on it. I was super excited. I mean, he's one of my favorite players. I think that the Panthers got good value for a running back who, let's be honest, has been injury prone-ish.
Yeah.
That's also what I want to talk about. That was I feel like that's a bit overrated. Why I'm confident is like he hasn't had torn ACLs, torn muscles, all this. It's been like a shoulder injury, an ankle, like like an
Yeah,
ankle
it's
sprain,
it's
a
been
shoulder. Like
random weird injuries where like it's not even the same injury being hurt over again or
yeah,
anything like that.
yeah.
Like and
It's
it's
just
not
like
even like
yeah,
major leg injuries all the time either.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
and I mean look, he's looking at it right now, McCaffrey's 26 years old. So I mean he's still got some good years left, you know. It's not like he's an
And
aged running back.
that's also the thing too is like people are saying that we overpaid. That's fine, but also we get him under contract for 3 more years,
Yeah.
and he's at 10. This year he's only 1.5 against the cap, and then next year he's at 10 million. Then that next year he's at 11. So that's a very doable cap.
I mean, that's reasonable. If he stays healthy, he'll be worth more than that money.
Yeah, if he's yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, and like you said, even if he misses some games, he's still worth that money. The running back market, it's weird because teams don't value it that much, but they sure do want to lean on the run game a lot. So, I've been waiting. It's just that
And
the
for
position
me,
is so volatile. Um,
yeah, and for me, I don't look at CMC as a running back. I see him more as like a Debo, like an offensive weapon. Because how good he is as a receiver.
Yeah.
That's like
Oh yeah,
price
yeah,
of
yeah.
the
I
value. Like,
mean,
yeah,
I want McCaffrey 3 or 4 yards down the field, playing the slot position. That
yeah.
dump off guy. Like I love, like that's what you want him to
Screens.
do. Get it, or if you can get him out in space, that's nice
And
too.
also,
Screens.
also, this is another thing that most fans don't look at. But the Niners are great, have great blocking receivers. Like I'm saying, like
Yeah.
Ayuk and
Mhm.
Jennings and
Oh yeah.
Debo kind of block for McCaffrey, and I don't think he ever had that with the Panthers, like downfield blocking.
Oh
So
no.
that's exciting to see too.
Well, I mean, they weren't very great at the downfield, the Panthers.
I, anything,
So
they
yeah.
were very good at
Uh,
anything.
which we already talked about it. They traded someone away to the Cardinals. Who was it? Curtis?
Oh yeah, Robbie Anderson.
Oh, Robbie Anderson. There we go. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
like stupid excited about that, but
solid,
they did throw a couple bombs to him down the field. He's a field stretcher. The Cardinals definitely
solid
need.
receiver. Yeah,
Yeah, but I
yeah.
mean, him and the coaches got
So
into
yeah,
it on the sideline, and the coach kicked him out of the game.
apparently, yeah, apparently, this all stems from he was angry that Matt Rule got
Oh,
fired. He was upset about that, and then yeah, and then so basically he started kind of beefing with everybody because he was just mad that his guy got fired,
I
which is
mean,
nice to see that he was loyal.
yeah,
But you got to understand that it's a
it's a business, man,
business,
and
you know.
Robbie Anderson has played for more than one team besides for the Panthers, so it's like you should know this by now.
Yeah,
Like it sucks. Don't get me wrong, it
yeah,
sucks, but like the wrong place to voice those opinions is during the game on the sideline. Like, why are you having issues? And if you're gonna be toxic, then you should be traded straight up.
yeah,
It's one of the
definitely.
reasons.
Um,
Unfortunately, it's one of the reasons C.J. Gardner Johnson got traded. Right? It was because
yeah,
he was a little
definitely.
bit toxic. Now,
And
hey, he's doing great for the Eagles, and I'm happy for him. But like being toxic, not a good career path.
it's not good.
So
Well, so was yeah, but to basically end the note on the Panthers, yeah, they're in full tank rebuild mode. This is a good start, and yeah, oh yeah. So what I would say was that the Niners are fine, um, draft pick wise because they have two extra third round picks because we got those comp picks for developing minority coaches or what like
yeah,
that. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we had three third round picks.
yeah,
So we still have two. We don't have a first because of Lance. We don't have a second because of McCaffrey. So we have some three, some five, and a six. But I still think there's a possibility that we could, possibly stack some picks later because we got a bunch of dead pieces. So,
yeah. Well, you could
that
if y'all really want someone, y'all have enough draft capital to make it into the first round. It would just have to be
yeah,
the back end of the first round. I don't.
the
Yeah,
rest of the
I
draft.
don't
Yeah.
think you're getting into the top 10 unless you put forth like next year's first rounder.
Also,
So,
also the Niners don't really have a need anywhere, like a big need at any
well, that's
spot.
what I'm
So,
saying. It's if anything, you can take all those draft picks you gave away. It was going to be mostly depth stuff. Um,
yeah,
Whereas they need a running back now. So,
yeah,
and why not like one of the most talented running backs in the league right now? So, Um. Anyway, moving on, I guess.
yeah.
Uh, my Saints lost another game to the Cardinals on Thursday night. It
There you
was a
go.
high scoring game. Um, Look, bruh, Andy Dalton played really well except for a few plays. One of them wasn't his fault. Two of them were. He threw an interception in the end zone, which our defense ended up stopping him to 3 points. So that was nice. But then he threw a pick six, which was not his fault at all. That was Callaway's fault. Number one, Mr. Callaway. Look, bruh, it's like maybe a 6 yard pass. It
Yeah,
wasn't stupid hard. He hit Callaway in the hands, in stride. And what does Callaway do? Oh, hey, let me bobble that bitch upwards, right? I can't stand when you see like it's one thing to not be able to catch a pass or to drop a pass, but when you bobble the ball upwards, I want to throat punch you, right?
Yeah,
Look,
it's bad.
I love Colston, but Colston used to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He used to make me so mad because he'd bobble it up, and you know what happens when they bobble it up? There's a defender right there who's just like, give me the ball. And in this case, they were, I don't know, the 25-yard line, 30-yard line. So it was an easy enough transition for the defender to just be like, I'm going to go to the end zone, and nobody
Yeah.
can stop him. So that one was on Callaway, but then Andy Dalton threw another pick six. Not long after that, two pick sixes within like a minute of gameplay,
Yeah.
and both of them led. That's 14 points. So the Saints were up, 14-6 or 17-6, I think. And
Mm.
then these two magical plays happened, and now the Saints are down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just stayed down the rest of the game. The Cardinals got the ball back in the second half, which the Saints managed to stop them, get the ball back. I think they weren't able to score. At one point, it was like 28-14, and then the Saints would score, but then the Cardinals would score, and then the Saints would score, and then the Cardinals would score, and then
Mm.
the final score ended up being, I forget what it was.
42, something.
Yeah, well, no, it was a one possession score. It was like
That's 39 to 36.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it was like 34-42, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an 8-point game. Because I remember thinking,
Mm.
because the Saints would score, and I at the time when they would score, they kicked the field goal, they were down by like 11 points, right? So to me, which maybe you can fill me in on how you feel about it, but they scored a touchdown. In my eyes, you should go for two, right?
Yeah.
Because okay, you kick the field goal, you're still down by three possessions because 11 points.
Yeah.
If you get a 2-point conversion, it's a 10-point game. That's two possessions, and a field goal is easier to get than two touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
And they did
Yeah.
that twice. Twice they kicked the extra point instead of going for two. And I just sat there. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Go for two if you get it. It's a 10-point game, and then all you
Mm.
have to do is kick a field goal and get a touchdown, and then you're good. And then what ended up happening is they got the game close. They tried to drive down the field. They couldn't drive down the field, but they might have been able to get into field goal range and at least tie up the game.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly not happy with that play calling. And again, maybe there's something I'm just not cluing into for the game. I know you didn't watch it, but
Mm.
the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, y'all should be going for two right here. You should be going for two right here. They didn't want to. Um, Defense was still a little shaky, giving up some big plays. Still can't stop the run, which I don't know why, because we have the personnel to do it. Um, just bad tackling.
I'll say people. Yeah, I'll say people will use it as a safe excuse, but it's a fact. The Saints were without Mike Thomas. They were without that what their star cornerback Lattimore.
So they didn't
You
have
know, so I
Lor They
mean,
didn't have Lattimore. They didn't have a Debo. They lost Roby, who was
mm,
filling in for Lattimore. They lost Roby, so we were down to a rookie cornerback in the backfield. So
yeah,
like, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying, I agree with you. It definitely didn't help to have your top three cornerbacks in the game, for sure. I
yeah,
agree with that. Um, but like the pass defense wasn't terrible. I mean, they gave up plays, but it wasn't terrible. But the problem with
yeah,
was the run defense is just they would touch the running back, but they just wouldn't tackle. They get to him, but just couldn't tackle him, and that's a huge issue. You can't
uh,
one of the last plays that kind of iced it. It was a 3rd and like 8 situation, and they ran the ball and got like 15 yards on a 3rd and
yeah,
8 in game
yeah,
time. Like you need to stop them here to have a chance to win, and they didn't do it.
yeah.
So offensively, look, man, pick sixes aside, interception aside, Andy Dalton played a really good game.
I'm good.
They scored a lot of points.
Yeah,
He looked good. It was just those two plays. One of them wasn't his fault. One of them was. The other interception obviously was. There's still talk. I don't think Winston's 100% healthy. He's dressing out, but he is an emergency quarterback. That's what he's been designated as. So I don't think he's healthy. When he is healthy enough to play, I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll see.
I'll
Um,
say
Good.
I'll say that I know it hasn't been a start that you hoped for, but like nobody's really running away with the South play. So
No,
the Saints still have time,
even with this loss, we're only
you
like
know.
2 games from lead, and that's depending on who
Yeah,
wins this weekend, right? Uh,
the Saints. Yeah,
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 yeah. Because right now, I think like we'll have right now we have like the same amount of wins as the Panthers, but the Buccaneers and the Falcons have 3 wins. So even if they both won
yeah,
this week, it would be a 2-game separation. So look, the Saints can bounce back. Obviously, I mean we got Olave back this game that helped out, but we are down like Troutman. We are down other people. We lost one of our wide receivers to injury. Like I don't know, it's just another injury plagued season for the Saints,
yeah.
and,
Hey,
and
hey,
it's hurting. It's hurting bad. So hopefully we'll get Lattimore.
I know all
Well,
about
we have a bye week next week, so the Saints have 10 days to get healthy, essentially. So I'm hoping we get a bunch of our players back.
that. Yeah.
You know, so all right. Well, um,
We could go over last week's picks,
yep. Go over last week's
how
picks.
we did. Oh yeah,
I
I guess
did.
I could just
Go
how
ahead.
about the Niners game real quick. The Niners lost to Falcons.
Y'all suck.
Um, you know, we were down 7 defensive starters, and the Falcons just did a good job at like attacking our D line where we had
Yep.
backups that kept running the ball.
They are good at running the
Mariota is
ball.
good.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And we we struggle against mobile quarterbacks anyways. So they were able to just keep on just getting the drive down,
Yep.
and their defense is solid up front. We
Yep.
weren't able to run the ball on them much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hey,
Well, if
good win.
you're rebuilding your team. Having a strong, offensive, defensive in the trenches makes a huge difference.
Um, good win for the Falcons. Um, West Coast teams going out into the South is always like a bit of an issue. Like it's always hard to go
Yeah.
play down there. So
Definitely.
yeah, but I'm not like watching the game. I was just kind of okay. It's just sometimes you can watch the game, you can just tell it's just like the Niners definitely it didn't feel like they had the energy. They seemed a little bit of a lackluster look.
Yeah, this is a bad game. All right.
Lack,
So
yeah. And so I mean, hey, we're still 3-3. We're still in first place. So
yeah, I
and
mean the West is still close,
back
man. The
into
West is another
yeah,
division that's close. So
post show.
yeah. So yeah, I picked the 49ers last week and that was one of the L's that I had to
Yeah,
suffer through. I picked the Bears to beat the Commanders for that Thursday night game. I don't know if we had talked about it, but um it was a close game. It was like 12-7. It was a bad game, right? So anyway, on to the next one. I picked the Browns to beat the Patriots. The Browns lost by a lot. My bad. Uh,
I picked the
yeah, the game
Patriots.
just kind of got away from them. Um, Packers versus Jets. The Jets with the upset, man. They
Yeah,
and I can't even say like I think we might have to start redefining what teams are good and bad. Um, because the Jets and the Giants are killing it right now, right?
yeah.
They're doing good, and the Jets defense it has some good players on it.
Yep.
Brees Hall's finally starting to kind of show out offensively.
I had
Um,
a
Good.
I had said something last week because we both picked the Packers. I said, hey, the Jets are the only team with a top 10 offense and a top defense. And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I'm not sure that they might win. And
yep,
then,
yeah. And I mean, look, the Packers are just struggling right now. So, I'm happy for the
very
Jets, man.
strong.
I said it at the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Jets' new head coach. I knew it was going to take him some time to get this team to turn around, a couple years.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh, he's the old defensive coach for the 49ers. Um, I really
Mhm.
liked him, and I think he's starting to put his impression on this team, and they're winning some games, and
Yeah.
they got some players. A little bit of drama. Elijah Moore's not happy with his role for the Jets. He doesn't like
Mhm.
not being targeted. And I don't blame him. And I really do think they need to target him more. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't be targeting him. Like, running the ball, that's fine. Elijah Moore is a talented wide receiver. He showed you that last year. You need to take advantage of that.
And I definitely do agree with that, but putting myself in a general manager's shoes, it gives off red flags that you're finally, you know, getting some victories, and you're instantly just upset about your stats. And honestly,
Yeah,
I'm like, I get that, but it's like,
yeah.
it it's
Well,
only week 7,
I
like
I I don't
let's have some patience.
yeah, I don't know, and that's the thing. We got the alerts that Elijah Moore had requested a trade, and the Jets basically were like, no, we're not trading you.
Yeah.
Um, my
Oh
question, I
no.
think, is okay, how many people did he talk to before he requested a trade, right? Like,
Yeah.
did he talk to his quarterback? Did he talk to his head coach? Like, did he talk to the GM? Did he talk to his like teammates? Like, how far did he go? Because we didn't hear nothing about it before. So, like, to me, it portrays itself as he just came out of the blue and like, hey, I want to be traded because y'all not throwing it to me. Now, if he went and talked to everybody in the organization and he's still not getting anywhere, then look, hey, if he wants to request a trade, that's fine. But
There. Yeah.
I mean, look, bro, you're in your what, second year of his contract, I think.
Yeah.
Second year of your contract, and y'all are finally winning games. I agree with you in the sense that, like, you need to show a little bit more professionalism, and
Yeah.
you need to show me a little bit more, a little bit less individualism in this instance. Like, look, I want you to be able to get paid, make your money, keep yourself healthy. Like, I'm about all those things. I said, but winning games takes a team effort. If
Mm-hmm.
your job, if they want to pay you to go out and run all over the field and be a decoy, not get a single
Yeah.
pass, but that allows your team to win, then go do it. Right? You can't be
Yeah.
selfish in this game. This game, like, you can want. Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting more work. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if all you're going to think about is you, that's not a recipe for success or winning, and you're
Yeah.
not going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And me personally, like, yeah, I'm trying to keep them. I'm gonna try to coach them up. I'm gonna try to talk with them and say, hey, look, I hear your frustrations. We'll try to work with you. We'll see what we can do. I was like, but you need to understand all these things. And then after that entire process, if he's still not, a couple weeks go by, a month goes by, and he's still not with the program, I get rid of his ass. Straight up.
Yeah.
You want to be traded? Okay, I'm gonna trade you to the Panthers. Like, you can go to a team that's rebuilding that sucks,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. I mean, he's more than welcome to go to the
Mm-hmm.
Saints, but I mean, the Saints could be good, so it is what it is. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. All right, back on track. I picked the Jaguars to beat the Colts. It was actually a pretty close game. Um,
I did too.
the Colts, I thought the Jaguars had it, man. They were in the lead for a while, but the Colts just kind of put the
Yeah.
afterburner on. But I didn't think Matt Ryan was going to throw the ball 58 times. The dude
Yeah.
had like 35 pass attempts in the first half. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my lord. Also, I wouldn't mind starting Matt Ryan if they're going to throw the ball like that some more. So
Mhm.
I think I started him this week in one of my leagues because I didn't really have any other options. And Jalen Hurts is on a bye week. So, you know.
Mhm.
But luckily in that league, I'm 4-2. So I can afford a loss if I need to. I picked the Vikings
Yeah.
to win. They did win. So that was a pretty close game. I was kind of surprised about
Yeah.
how close it was. Uh, we just talked about the Saints losing to the Cardinals. They lost to the Bengals last week by 4 points. That was upsetting. Um, but a good game, but just upsetting.
Oh yeah.
Ravens beat the Giants. No, my bad. The Giants beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
By 4 points in what I consider to be kind of an upset. Now, I want to say I
Oh
did
yeah.
talk about how the Ravens defense was decimated, and I also talked about
Mm-hmm.
how I would not be surprised if the Giants pulled off this win, but it was still,
Yep.
an interesting win, right? I picked the Ravens.
Will
I
also
lost.
said, Will said either the Ravens win in a blowout or the Giants win in like a tight game.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean the Ravens have a lot of injuries on defense, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So, um, this is the upset that I loved. The Steelers beat Tampa Bay, and I love it. I
Beat
love
up
it.
on
I love to
Brady.
see it. Yeah. Brady's looking a little lost out there. Maybe his age is catching up to him. Maybe he's
Yeah.
just not in rhythm. I don't know, bro. He had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin back. Um, so we'll see. I don't know what to really say about that. The
Mhm.
only other game I lost on, this game was the Eagles versus the Cowboys, and while I thought the Eagles were going to win, I thought the Cowboys would put up a good fight and maybe pull it out. And
Mhm.
at this point, I was just trying to make a pick that would kind of differentiate me from everybody
Yeah.
else, you know.
Yeah.
So I ended up losing that one, which is fine. Um,
The big one that I lost was the I had the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Bills, but
uh-huh.
it was a tight game.
Yeah, it was a
Tight
tight
game.
game. The Bills defense just kind of showed out a little bit, and Josh Allen showed you how good he was. So, um,
Yeah.
it was a good game. That was a fun game. I
Yeah.
watched all of that game and I really liked it. Um, so that's pretty much all of them. Did you have any
William,
others that you got wrong? Huh?
yes, but let's not talk about it. I said yes, but let's not talk about it. No, because if you don't remember, I picked the Broncos to upset Los Angeles, but
Oh,
that didn't happen. But
no,
I mean,
they
it
did not.
went into overtime, so
Yes, it was a closer game than I thought.
it was a tight
Justin
game.
Herbert had a bad game, and then Mike Williams
Yeah, I
also had a
mean,
bad game. So
that's the only thing that I was counting on is like Denver's defense is like elite.
Denver's defense
So,
is really
but
good. It's just that
oh, I know.
their offense is just
Yeah,
really bad. So, all
they
right.
gave they gave the Broncos offense 3 possessions in overtime, and they couldn't get one first
Yep.
down. That's just terrible. All right, week 7.
Yep. So let's go into week 7. Um, Obviously Thursday night's game already happened.
Oh,
I didn't make a pick, but I would have picked
yeah,
the Saints because I will always pick the Saints. Cardinals won by 8.
I didn't.
Yeah, he didn't watch it. Go ahead and start DeAndre Hopkins. You should
Oh
start him.
yeah,
Just saying. Um, Next
I
game.
actually
Go ahead.
have a league where I actually have a league where I drafted him in like the 13th round. And it was like, why? I'm like, I'm just gonna hold on to him. Hold
I
on.
mean, yeah, he coming back. Come back week 7. That's not
Yeah.
bad, bro. Um, so to start off, we have the Bengals versus the Falcons. I picked the Bengals. They're favored to win,
2 days Bengals.
but that being said, I do think the Falcons could put up a fight.
Yep.
So,
I would not be shocked.
yeah, this is another one of those games where it could be a really like the Falcons could win by 3 or the Bengals could blow them out. So,
Yeah.
um, next up, the Cowboys versus the Lions, and Dak should be returning to the fold. I don't know if Dalton Schultz is going to be playing or not, because he's still been in games, but his injury report
Yeah.
has been questionable. He's been playing with a
Yeah.
nagging injury. But I'm curious to see if maybe Dak being back might mean Schultz might be back. I have a couple shares of Schultz, and for now, I'd say keep him on the bench, ride it out for a
Yeah.
week. I am starting Dak though. You just kind of
Dak
have to.
attack.
You just kind of have to,
Yeah,
right?
especially against the Lions defense.
Yes, especially against the Lions
Bad.
defense. This could be a huge scoring game potentially. Um, don't I don't know. We'll see. Is Amon-Ra St. Brown back from injury yet? Do you know?
Yes, he is.
He is.
This
Okay, so
is
that's
his best.
that's
This is his first game back.
okay. Is DeAndre Swift back? Yes. So
That I'm not sure.
I want to say he's questionable, but I think he's slated to come back and play. If Swift's back
Yeah.
and Amon-Ra St. Brown is back, the Lions could put up a fight. Well, that Cowboys defense is good, but so we'll see. I picked the Cowboys to win this game though.
Absolutely.
Next up is the Titans versus the Colts. Um, Titans are favored to win this game. I picked the Titans, but Jonathan Taylor should be back this week for the Colts.
I picked the Indianapolis Colts of
Oh,
Indiana. I feel like
alrighty
the
then.
Colts are just yeah, I feel like the Colts are just starting to hit their, mark. I know how you feel about Matt Ryan, but I'm still a big believer in old Matty Ice.
Well,
I
look,
think
he
that
does
if
he
he can get
does
in,
yeah, he does have Pittman back, right? That's one thing I didn't realize last week. He does have Pittman back, and that makes a huge difference. Also, if you have Pittman, you should be starting him. That dude is a stud. Um, with that being said, Alec Pierce, if Matt Ryan's gonna throw the ball 50 times a game, like if you need a flex option wide receiver, Alec Pierce might not be a bad decision. Um,
yeah,
you're gonna start Jonathan Taylor. He might be a little bit hurt. Um, but yeah, sorry, there's a fly. He might be a little bit hurt, but he's gonna be in the game. So I mean, you start your studs, obviously.
now I'll say this: Matt Ryan throwing that much is not a good thing. Like let's
No.
dial it back a little bit.
Well, let me put it this way. It's I don't necessarily think the Titans are gonna run up the score on them. I think Derrick Henry's gonna have his way with them. It should be a tight knit game, but the Colts defense isn't as good as we thought it would be. Their O line is in
Yeah.
shambles. So it might be hard for Taylor to run like he needs to run. Um, I don't think Matt Ryan's gonna pass 58 times in this game, but
Nah.
I do think you could see Matt Ryan pass 40 something times in this game.
Yeah.
And if he passes 40 something times in this game, even with an interception or two, I think he'll be fantasy okay. He might not get 20 points, but he'll get you 18, 19 points, somewhere around there. Unless if he has a good day, then yeah, he could be lights out. He had a great week last week. So, good.
That reminds me, who's been balling out is Mo Ali Cox.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Their
tight end for the Colts, right?
tight end. Yeah, he's been
There you
putting
go.
up some big stats.
Pick him up off of waivers if you can, bro. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Brian Robinson for getting him a touchdown last week. Dude got shot in the knee
Yeah.
beginning of the season, and he got him a touchdown. Now, did he have a great fantasy day? No, he didn't have a terrible one. I also noticed that
Fine.
he didn't catch any passes at all. So keep an eye on him. It doesn't hurt to have him on your bench. Um, they're working him in. It's gonna take a couple weeks. But he could end up being the main, between the 20s guy at least. Though I do think he'll get goal line work. He seems to be a little bit of a bruiser back. So, goal line work in between the 20s. If he doesn't get pass catching, that's fine. You could probably start him later on. I'd wait for a little while, right? All right, next game, Packers versus the Commanders, which I was just talking about Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Look, I picked the Packers, but this is kind of the put up or shut up game for me, right? If you lose
Yeah.
to the Commanders, I'm probably not picking you again, Packers. I'm just being honest. And Aaron Rodgers be damned. Um, he lost Randall Cobb last week, which isn't the biggest of hits, but it is a hit. him and Alan Lazard do seem to be kind of being on the same page. Robert Tunyon is somebody you want to pick up and play. Robert Tunyon had a good week last week. I think he had 7 or 8 catches. So he had a big week. Now I don't think he's going to get that every week. I think Robert Tunyon's going to be your 4 to 5 catch guy. But look for
Yeah.
touchdowns, right? If he gets in the end zone, look for touchdowns. Other than that,
Um, yeah, I'd say that I am picking the Packers, but I don't feel good about it. Like I could
yeah.
easily see Washington taking this game. The Packers defense,
Well, Carson Wentz
like
is hurt.
I,
Carson Wentz is hurt. So
I mean, but
Heineke will be the starting quarterback in this
Heineken
game.
might be better. Like
He might.
Heineken,
Heineke's not a terrible quarterback. He's not great, but he's not terrible.
it feels like the Commanders keep trying to replace him. I'm like, maybe if you guys just built around him, you guys could have like a decent team. You
Well,
know,
I
like
mean,
I don't know,
they have J.D. McKissick, they have Terry McLaurin, they have
yeah,
Curtis Samuel, they
Curtis
have
Samuel,
Logan Thomas. Like it's not like
mhm.
there isn't weapons. They just need to utilize them better.
The O line's bad,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
So, but I don't know if you're trying to remember something. Um, I'll put it to you this way. I picked the Packers, but I'm kind of scared. I will say this though: buy low on Aaron Jones if you can. Right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's a
yeah,
great decision. But look, you hear Aaron Rodgers saying, "Hey, we need to get Aaron Jones going. He's our guy." AJ Dillon's still in work, but AJ Dillon's not been doing too good, unfortunately for me, because I do have some shares of him. But if you can buy low on Aaron Jones, I think.
mhm.
I mean, he's a running back, so I don't think teams are going to be too happy to part with him. But if you give them a good deal, they might. So.
Yeah,
Next game, Buccaneers versus the Panthers, and I picked the Buccaneers.
yeah.
Um,
The Commanders are just shitty.
they're just crappy. The one good thing they had was CMC, and he's gone. So,
Yeah,
I expect a loss right there. Next is Giants versus Jaguars, and I can comfortably say I picked the Giants. I think they're going to continue their win streaks and keep winning games.
the Jaguars are a team where I feel like they beat most teams and lose to most teams. So
Uh-huh.
like if they won this game, I want to be shocked. But yeah, I got the New
Yeah.
York Football Giants.
Yeah, look, I like the direction the Jaguars are going.
Yeah,
They're starting to lean on ETN a little bit more. You're starting to see that in games, which is something you should like if you're a fantasy owner of them. Um, but I said this at the beginning of the season. I think the Jaguars are a couple years off from being really competitive. I do think they will get there. I do think Trevor Lawrence will be a good quarterback. I don't know how great he'll be, but he'll be good. I think the run game's going to
yeah.
get where it needs to be. I really like Doug Peterson, and I think he's doing good things for this team. They're they're
And the
they're fighting in some of these games. They're putting up a good uh competition for the other teams, but they're just missing some
the
pieces. Um,
Jaguars defense has been like top 7 or 8ish, like
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, and I mean, well,
Uh,
Doug Peterson is more of a defensive guy, right?
yeah.
With his coaching. So,
Mhm.
I expected their defense to get better. So that's cool to hear that they're ranked that high, you know. So we'll see. Next game, which should be a tough game. We'll see. It's the Ravens versus the Browns. Um, I pick the Ravens to win. Um, even though their defense is hurting, most of their major injuries are more towards the back end of the defense. Um, I think their run defense will be all right. And the Browns are.
Hello.
I'm back. There we go. Sorry, Bayou Internet strikes again. The Browns are going to pound the ball. That's just what they're going to do. Jacoby Brissett's not that great. Amari Cooper. is Amari Cooper, who is good, but uh, it's I expect the Ravens to win. They had the better offense. They have a good
Yeah.
defense. Um,
I don't know if you heard, but Baltimore just lost their good running back, J.K.
yeah,
Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins will be out, but Kenyon
That's
Drake is the saver now,
yeah, he's a good.
right?
Um, yeah. This I could. It's a coin toss, and I'm just going to lean towards Lamar because that's what I always do. But I can see it going either way.
Yeah, I think they just need to keep passing the ball. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it. J.K. Dobbins, when he was playing, wasn't very good for him this year,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Which tells me he probably continuously had a nagging injury, and then it got to
Yeah.
a point where he's like, all right, well now I need to have surgery on it, so
Mhm.
he's going to have surgery on his knee. Um, Next game, Jets versus the Broncos, and I'm picking the Jets.
Yeah.
Uh, they are
Yeah.
favored to win this game, as far as I can tell. I don't know what the odds are. I have to look it up. But look, the Broncos have a really good defense. Until their offense gets it together, though, they ain't shit.
Mhm.
So, Jets to win, and I hope they do.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, Russell Wilson is probably not playing this game, and I don't even know who their backup is. So.
I have no idea. Is it? It's not. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know.
I don't even know who
Uh,
that is.
I don't know. Next game, uh, Raiders versus Texans, and I picked the Raiders.
Yeah.
Um, I like to. I think I want to say the Texans got a little bit better, or just they're just eh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Raiders, look, bro, I'm still pulling for the Raiders. They keep losing games, but like they're a better team. You
They
know,
definitely are.
they are a better team. They just need to get it together. Is all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. So, we'll move on. The next game is the Chargers versus the Seahawks, and I'm giving it to the Chargers. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know. What is it? Kenneth Walker had him a beastly game last week. So I'm sure Pete Carroll's up in arms and wants to run the ball and play defense because that's what Pete Carroll does. And I mean the Chargers are missing some key people on that front defensive line. Uh,
Can I say something quick?
Good.
Give me them Seahawks. Give me them Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be close.
Oh
Seattle
snap.
by 10.
Oh snap. I'm gonna take the odds on that. I'll take the odds on that. Okay. I f-
I feel like Geno Smith is playing right now like a top 10 quarterback. Like,
Look, he's playing very well.
yeah,
My problem is that the Seahawks defense is not.
it hasn't been, but it's slowly
Yeah, it's
right
getting
now.
better. They have a bunch of young guys, so they're learning this.
Right now, they have the two of the highest rated cornerbacks, and they're both rookies. Like, if Seattle had one pass rusher worth a damn, they might be. But
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, I don't see them.
I look. I'm gonna put it to you this way. I'm gonna go check the betting sites, and if they
Mm.
have the Seahawks by 10, I'm gonna take the under on that, and I'm gonna cash out. Just let you know. Uh,
Mm.
I don't think it's not. I'm not gonna say it's an unfair pick because the Seahawks can play well. I've seen them do it, and they could beat the Chargers. But I think after the Chargers' last game and Justin Herbert just having a bad week, I think he's gonna play with a fire. I
Mm.
think they're gonna get Mike Williams involved. Keenan Allen might be coming back, right? Is
Hopefully,
it
because
is it
I
this
haven't
week? I think it's this week.
fantasy teams.
I
Hopefully.
think I think I think it's this week he comes back. If not this week, next week. Um,
Mm.
and then there's still Austin Eckler, and so we'll see. Um, Next game, oof, oof. Chiefs versus the 49ers. Bruh, bruh. I picked the Chiefs, bruh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're about to get spicy Paul right now.
Oh shit. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's go, Spicy Paul.
I guarantee a Niners victory. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs do not scare me. I think that they are vastly overrated. Um, the, the offense at least. So here's how it is. First of all, the good news: the Niners are going to be 99% healthy. We're getting Trent Williams back, who's been gone for weeks. We're getting Bosa. We're getting like every other guy
Oh,
back.
that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a big one, and I feel like it's a home game. Getting McCaffrey, like I feel like it's going to be
They're gonna be
electric,
lit.
and I feel like we match up well. Like why I said that the Tennessee Chiefs offense is the way it's not, but the fact that nobody can hang with Kelsey. If
Yeah.
you can stop Kelsey, that offense is not scary.
Yeah.
Like
Man,
they're
I
they're
agree, but I think man, Mahomes wills that team to victory sometimes too,
oh
though.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
Kelsey's had
I
bad
agree.
games, and Mahomes just lights it up.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's my two top things: is stop Kelsey and don't let Mahomes run around
yeah,
all day
yeah,
and throw a crazy air bomb.
yeah.
But we have a safety in Jeremy Ward who has held Kelsey in check. The past three times they've played, he hasn't gotten over 50 yards a season. So I feel like if we can, like, basically, I would consider this game a easy win if our offense was playing good. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know what our offense is going to
I don't know.
do.
We'll see.
But
That's another
yeah,
game that I want to
go
watch.
Kansas City.
So that's
Oh, I mean,
like
absolutely.
this game is kind of like my Kansas City Bills game. Like I want to watch this game. It should be fun. I'm not changing my pick though. I'm leaving it on the Chiefs just to be sporty. So
Okay, how about this? Just to even get you going, George Kittle is going to outshine Travis Kelsey in this game.
ooh,
I'll put that on the table too.
that's a spicy take. That's a spicy take. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Next next game. Dolphins versus Steelers. I think Tua is coming back for this game, right? He should be
He
back.
is absolutely back. He
Um,
is back on time.
I think
Back on track.
the only question is whether or not Waddle plays this weekend. I think things are trending to where he should be playing, but I know he's dealing with a nagging
Yeah,
shoulder injury.
he has practiced all week, so I
Okay,
guess
so he should be good.
I would assume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna throw it to him if they can. So Waddle and Tyreek are both starts. And they're both top 5 wide receivers heading into this week,
yeah.
surprisingly enough. So at the beginning of the season, when I was like, "Hey, don't be afraid to draft Waddle. Like even with Tyreek Hill, he's going to be good." I was right so far,
You're right. You're
and
right.
I also have
Absolutely.
several shares of Waddle. So I
Same,
definitely
same, yeah.
I walked the walk. I didn't just talk the talk. I walked the walk. I drafted him. So just want to point that out, people. Last but not least, but not very exciting either, is the Patriots versus the Bears. Pick the Patriots.
Let me first let me set up here. So these great Patriots, the great Patriots. So first of all, like Zappy is really starting to like take that starting spot. Like
Yeah,
if he comes
yeah,
out on Monday Night Football and lights it up like he did last week, like
bro. Yeah, yeah.
Matt Jones might be out of a job.
Mac Jones might be playing for the Panthers before the year's out, right? Like I
yeah,
like Mac Jones, I really do, but man,
yeah.
this Zappy guy's he's tearing it up. He's tearing it up.
He's
So,
happening.
which I mean, if you ask me, most likely the Patriots are gonna keep both of them.
Yeah.
And Zappy will probably be the starter, but Mac Jones will be the backup, and that's probably what'll
Mm-hmm.
happen. So We'll see. I don't know, but I'm not really
Patriots
interested. I'm not really
should
Patriots.
win.
Patriots by like 2 possessions probably. So
Yeah.
just saying, I would go ahead and start the Patriots defense. If you need a
Yeah.
DST this week, I would
Hmm.
definitely start them. Ramondre Stevenson had him a game.
He's been balling.
You should be starting him. He's starting to look good. So just putting that out there, people. Um, well, that's our
Yeah.
last pick. Anything else to say before we close it out tonight?
Oh, well, let's just kind of update some people on our fantasy leagues or what any players that have been interesting for us.
So listen to this real quick.
Playoff stand?
Listen
All
to
right.
this real quick. So I was apparently in an ESPN league that I didn't know about because when I joined it with a different account for my normal ESPN league. So the
Mhm.
guy, the league manager messaged me, the commissioner, and was like, "Hey," he's like, "I'm just checking on you, like nothing's happened with your team all season." And he's like, I was worried. I was like, "What? I have a team?" So I go look at this team, and I'm 0-6 in this team, right? But I have but I have Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, Lamar
Well,
Jackson, and then it kind of falls off after that. Like I think
yeah.
T Higgins is my best wide receiver, and then like I have a bunch of other crapshoot guys and a crapshoot like tight end. So, but not a bad team, just missing wide receivers. So I've been trying like hell to trade all week because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to bring this team back. It's 0-6, so
But
you're on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? But like nobody wants to be trading right now, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna beat y'all with 3 good running backs apparently. So we'll see how it goes. I made a couple roster moves and picked up some people off of waivers, and we'll see where it goes. But just saying, funny, you know, funny how
yeah.
that works. But
Um,
good players.
they're just like stand up. Like I said, I held on to Hopkins this whole time, and like it's hard sometimes when you only have a few bench slots and guys get hurt. It's it's hard to hold on to a guy for a whole
Yep.
year,
Yeah.
times, but hold on to him. Yeah, I'm doing good in most of my leagues. This is the first year that I'm doing a dynasty league, so I'm trying to learn and get that down. So that's fun.
Yep.
Uh,
Um. So let's see. One. Travis Etienne is up and coming. He got 10 rushes both the last 2 games. Which kind of shows a little consistency. So maybe expect him to continue to get 10 rushes. But what I liked was he was getting 2 or 3 catches the last 2 games
mhm.
also, which is kind of what we thought he would be doing. Um, so I mean, from now on, I think he's a flex option running back, with upside if he gets a touchdown, right? But I think he can get you double digit points in PPR leagues. So you
Um,
should, he's probably not available, but if you have him, nothing wrong with considering to start him. Bye weeks have started, so you know.
so, what is your opinion if you owned McCaffrey? Are you happier now or upset? Because so let me
Um.
explain. With the Panthers,
So
he was the whole.
yeah, it'll probably suck this week if he's on a limited
Mhm.
snap
Oh yeah,
count. Um. But
yeah.
after that, no, I'm happy. I think his usage will be more efficient. I don't think he's gonna lose too much. But what I
Mhm.
like is he's not the only thing on the field. You can't stack the box
Yeah.
against Christian McCaffrey because then Debo and Ayuk and fucking Kittle will blow your doors off. So,
Yeah.
you know, um, I don't think him going to the 49ers is a hindrance. I think it helps. I think he'll have more
Mhm.
consistency from week to week. Now will his usage be
Mhm.
as high? No. His receiving might be capped now, as opposed to
Mhm.
when he played for the Panthers. I mean, getting 10 catches a game, kind of more
Yeah.
normal than anything. So he might not be getting that, but I think they're still gonna throw him the ball. I think they're gonna run him, so you should be fine. He's still, like I said, I still think he's a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
Um,
And then a non-sports related question: have you already gotten a Modern Warfare
yes,
2 yet?
yes, it's been pre-ordered for
Yeah.
the last like 2 months at least. I've just been waiting. So I think the storyline just
Yeah.
came out this weekend if you pre-ordered it. And
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
multiplayer will be in November sometime. So, which isn't too far off. So I am excited
This is
and
the
ready.
most excited I've been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I I,
This is
I
the most
played.
excited I've been for a Call of Duty.
Yeah, I played the beta for a little while. I only had like a day to play it. The way things turned out, but it was fun. So I'm hoping like the movement
Yeah.
was kind of weird. It was kind of slow, but I think that might have just been because it was in the beta,
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I already liked how the guns are set up. They're not set up like this current one though. They went back to the attachment slots. So like you only have so many attachments
Mm.
per gun. Now you could probably have a perk
Yeah.
that like adds more attachments, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but it'll be fun. It looks like it's gonna be really good. So I know a lot of people that are excited for it.
I'll be honest. I love I love Call of Duty, but I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign in a long time. Like, I
Yeah.
remember the last
Yeah,
campaign.
I don't normally play the campaigns to be honest. So,
Yeah.
um, see a couple more fantasy players. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. If you haven't already been playing them every week, like just go ahead and play them every week. Even Lockett's been doing pretty good, right? So, you should be starting both of those players. If you're not starting Chris Olave, you're stupid. Just I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say it, right? Not trying to be mean. I'm just saying like Olave's a future superstar. Like he's good now. He's gonna be better. Um, so if you have dynasty leagues, if you could trade for him now, I would do it.
Yeah.
People probably aren't gonna give him up because he already looks spicy, but the games he's been having haven't been superstar games yet. So, look, maybe you have an aging wide receiver like Kenan Allen or an aging tight end like Travis Kelsey. and
Hey.
and maybe that team is looking for an extra piece, and you're like, here's Kelsey, I'll take Olave, which you're overpaying, but I think Olave is going to be worth it. I think Olave is going to be maybe not as good as Justin Jefferson, but he'll be up there. He'll be that guy
Yeah.
that you're like, holy crap, he's good.
Mhm.
So, but I think we're good. I think we can end it there. So starting to get a little late for us.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
uh, Well, this is week 7. Hopefully, we win all our fantasy matchups and bets. I
yeah.
gotta go look for that 10-point game. I need to find that somewhere, and then we'll go from there. So, anyway, this is Fantasy Ambush. I'm Trevor,
And I'm Paul.
and we hope you have a good night.